with us in the studio. And Kate, starting off with the latest twist in the dispute about the expansion of the Panama Canal.
Hi, Laura. On Sunday, the European Union offered to mediate the ongoing stalemate between the authorities that run the Panama Canal and the Spanish-led consortium that won the bid to expand it. But the Panama Canal Authority has rejected that move and continued its own informal talks with the contractors. At the heart of the dispute, more than $1.5 billion in overrun costs. The Canal Authority wants the consortium to complete the work at its bidding price of just over $3 billion. Meanwhile, work at the canal continued at a reduced pace this Monday, despite builders threatening to shut down the project if their demands weren't met this weekend. They're building a third set of locks that could double the canal's capacity. It already sees about 5% of world commerce pass through its waters. Now, moving from boats to cars. France's PSA Citroen has posted some disappointing sales figures for 2013, down nearly 5% compared with the previous year. It comes as the firm confirms that it's in talks with China's Dongfeng Motor Group to raise some urgently needed capital. Jonathan Crane explains.
Another blow for PSA Citroen. For the third straight year, it posted a drop in sales, down 4.9% in 2013. The French car maker once again hit by a slumping European market, which accounts for more than half its business. It's also been losing ground to lower-cost rivals. So, in an attempt to reverse this trend, the founding Peugeot family has been forced to venture into new territory. The board, albeit reluctantly, has agreed to give up some of its stake in return for a cash injection totalling €3 billion, with Chinese carmaker Dongfeng an interested party.
As we've been saying for a while, we're in negotiations with certain partners, among them Dongfeng, with the aim of developing our trade, business and means of finance. These negotiations are still in progress.
According to reports, the deal is expected to go through in two stages. First, Dongfeng and the French state will both acquire 14% of shares, pumping in around €750 million each to dilute the Peugeot family's holding from 25% to a matching stake. Then, a broader sale will be held for the rest of the funding. As for many European car makers, China's becoming Peugeot's most important market. It enjoyed a 26% surge in sales there last year and hopes to have production capacity for nearly 1 million vehicles in China by 2015. For its part, the French government says it will do everything to ensure Peugeot remains a French car maker.
China's economic growth leveled off at 7.7% last year, higher than the government's target rate of 7.5%, but not an increase on 2012. It represents China's slowest rate of growth since 1999, though the GDP expansion still exceeds that of the United States, Japan, and Europe. It's part of a series of economic reforms that include decreasing dependence on exports and turning towards domestic consumption and the private sector. While it may mean the days of double-digit growth are over for now, analysts predict that the short-term stagnation will be worth it.
But the fact that we are seeing the Chinese economy slow down in 2013, I think is not just a huge plus for the long-term growth of the economy, but it also signals confidence by the government that both the country and the party can withstand the challenges of this new policy shift.
Now, that Chinese data sent Asian markets all into the red this Monday. It's also having an impact here in Europe, where we saw only the FTSE closing in positive territory. Europe was also partly weighed down by some very disappointing figures from Deutsche Bank, which reported a surprise pre-tax loss of over €1 billion for the fourth quarter. Peugeot, which we saw had a very rough Monday as well, saw its shares closing down over 11%. There's no trading on Wall Street today as the US marks Martin Luther King Day. Let's move on to some of the day's other business news now. The European Commission is expected to take legal action against Germany for supporting Daimler's refusal to remove a banned coolant from new cars. Berlin has backed Mercedes' parent company in refusing to phase out R134A, a cooling agent that environmentalists warn is 1,000 times more potent than carbon dioxide. Legal proceedings could begin as early as this week. The weak global economic recovery has failed to make a real dent in unemployment figures, and it shows no sign of picking up. That's the gloomy outlook from the International Labour Organization, which said the crisis could continue until 2018, and some 215 million people worldwide could be out of work. The agency said some 45% of those who lost jobs last year from South and East Asia, and urged governments around the world to focus more on labor markets and less on austerity. And about half of South Koreans have fallen victim to a hacker. A computer contractor working for a company that produces credit scores stole personal data, including credit card details and social security numbers, of 20 million people, and sold that information to marketing firms. The contractor has already been taken into custody, along with some managers of the firms that bought that stolen data. And finally, Amazon is taking the principle of knowing its customers to a whole new level. The online giant has patented anticipatory shipping, getting a product on its way before customers even finalize the purchase. The process is based on previous orders, product searches, and wish lists, with the idea being to cut down on shipping time. It's just the latest move from Amazon that seems to come from the future. It's already said it's planning a fleet of automated delivery drones. I'll be back with more business for you throughout the evening. For now, it's back to you, Laura.
Thanks very much, Kate. That brings you up to date then with the business news this hour. We're going to find out what's got people clicking and sharing over the past 24 hours. It's time for web news.